I'm just looking at the previous results as some sort of indication as to how Vox had performed on this map. Now, they beat Trident on it. They also played it and lost to Legacy, though. So they're coming in with mixed results and a mixed track record, so to speak. So perhaps trying to show us something different. We did give Legacy credit before, though, because they were clearly on point that night to put away Vox 2-0, given the strength in which they've shown us, Vox Eminor, of course, that is, since that point in time. But we will see X5, I think it was, claiming the knife round, so they'll get their choice of sides here in this instance. Something I might just ask you, though, Chris, just to clarify while we've got a second here, is when you're talking about that Lion's Den strategy where it's quite bold, picking your opposition's best map with the knowledge that you're prepared, that's a deliberate decision on that team's part. Are you suggesting, or do you think that that's the case here? I would have thought that it's more of the inadvertently choosing their team's best map due to perhaps not as much research.
Yeah, I'm not too sure in this particular matchup because I don't know a lot about... These two teams are pretty new, and actually they went around... Well, these lineups went around when we were playing in Australia, so I'm not too sure. But the map the other day where, what was it, Chiefs picked Overpass against Immunity,
yep.
I'm pretty sure that was the Lions Den because they're both very confident in Mirage. No one wanted to waste their pick on Mirage. And I think Chiefs thought if they picked Overpass, which is Immunity's second best map, in my opinion, that they're guaranteed to get Mirage as the other map. And then, you know, that's the best chance of getting a win or a complete clean sweep 2-0. But as it turns out, you look at it on paper and you think they're crazy because they just played on Immunity's two best maps and lost them both. So it can work, but I'm not too sure if teams are doing it for the right reasons or if they're maybe overthinking it. But this pistol's about to start or has started, so let's talk about that.
Nova straight in, not messing about. He's not here for anything but business as that bomb goes down in that B site. Now, they haven't noticed the man sitting at short, so great position here from Pex. He's now made himself present as Koze does pick up another gun and, well, backs his teammate up there. Sicko doing a good job getting the entries, and they fell over like toy soldiers there at that B site, Nick.
Well, that's right. I think Chris gave you the heads up to start casting the pistol round, and about 10 seconds later you're throwing it to me because the pistol round's over, but I think that's actually really just Vox continuing on their roll from what we saw in Dust 2 is very fast, and I like their attack and very proficient onto the B site there. It's a site that can normally be quite difficult to take, particularly perhaps on a pistol round when you have those inferior blocks in hand, but I think they're able to close the distance and get the job done in that sense. They are now, of course, on an anti-eco round, and they're almost being gifted these frags here in mid as Exile5 seemingly step out one at a time, wanting to take the long-range fight, and Sicko's almost just content just to watch his own decoy grenade. He's seen enough for the round. He's seen enough horrors in his lifetime, and 2-0 though, the score stands.
Living in New Zealand and all. 2-0 the score. I'll just let that be awkward for you, Nick.
Mate, I didn't say it. You said it, not me, mate.
It's only awkward for you, Jim.
You're the one who said
like
it, mate.
awkward humour. I'm good at it.
You're the one who said it, Jim. In any case, though, we do see Exile5 here. They are on a complete eco, apart from maybe one or two P250s. So potentially, Jim, thinking about the next buy round?
They've just got no kills.
Definitely. I don't think they, as you said, Chris, they don't have the kills to surprise with that potential buy next round. So P250s, I dare say they're going to have another round of P250s after this. So
I think you've lost the plot, mate. They've already had one round.
I don't think there's another round.
I think you've lost the plot completely. Maybe just leave it up to myself and Gomez to do the
That's what I was
casting.
alluding to. You let me finish my sentence before you cut
Deary me. Deary me. Well, we have seen Dan's get one frag there into Koze as Jim scrambles to try and find some logical explanation. But we do see here that looks as though Vox Eminor, I think they've already got one man down, and I think they're almost trying to regroup here in mid because you do see almost Sicko, and I think he was closely accompanied by Moe. They're backtracking in mid, I think trying to head their way towards B, where clearly RBZ has had a lot of impact this round already and opened up the side and turned what could have been a dangerous situation into an easy one for Vox here.
Diggs doing good work there, just delaying that plant a little bit, and does have good position, but RBZ is just going to find him out there in the halls. Now, for those wondering, there is a gentleman's agreement between the two teams that there will be no R8 revolver in play in this particular matchup. It is allowed in the league though, so it's just an agreement between these two teams that will not be used in any of their matches tonight. So not the case obviously earlier in the Chiefs match, and we did see them, I dare say, fall victim to the temptation of buying it. It is quite an expensive gun, but nonetheless the gun round will come in.
I found Chiefs' decision. Firstly, they decided to start T first, which is nearly suicide on Mirage, I think. I'd much prefer to play CT first. But then also, because of the revolvers are new, they had no idea how they were going to work or if they're going to be strong or weak. So why would you want to go first? You'd be better off letting the other team go first and basically see how good they are. Because as you said, they just wasted so many rounds buying those things, thinking they were stronger than they were.
Well, in any case, we do see Vox here. They have moved into the site very quickly. Good use of utility grenades will almost give them safe passage in there. We only see now the first frag going down. But they've got the plant. They're now in a 4-on-4 situation. They do just lose Nova as I'm saying that. But I like that Molotov there. That should force Sicko out of his spot. But it doesn't. It just almost accelerates the fashion in which Ferg dies as Sicko steps around the corner and rips his head off and gets a second onto Pex to finish off the round. Great work by Vox and nice execute. I know, Trish, you were talking about potentially X5 having a few A executes that they like to run over and over again. Well, we just saw one from Vox Eminor and it definitely did the job.
Yeah, it's like I said, this is a really pivotal map to see sort of who's going to win this division. If Vox get found out that they can't play Mirage, they have to ban it against Immunity, and then they're going to have to play Overpass or something else. So, but if they can prove they can play it, I mean, it possibly means that Immunity may ban it, but probably not. But more likely, it just means it's going to be a close game tomorrow. So
What is your definition, Chris, of can play it? Is that a scoreline based thing? If they can get a certain margin of victory?
In Immunity's minds, if they beat X5, I guess that proves that they can play it. So they need to win, and probably win quite heavy to even make Immunity second guess. But I still don't think Immunity will ban it. They're one of their better maps as well. So it'll just mean that that's a really good game tomorrow.
Nonetheless, though, Pex has to try and save his gun against the incoming terrorist Tide. Not able to do so. Nova just too patient there as his teammate was going to come around the flank. So Exile5 are going to invest in some AWPs here. They don't go the double AWP setup like they did on Dust 2. That investment really hurt them economically, and they were eco for almost every round subsequently after going the double AWP buy. Not the case here. They've only gone for the one buy. That is in STV's hands, and he is the man. But I do believe, I just check the overlay, that he is positioned in short. So they are utilising it in mid. He will appear a little bit later in the picture, but Vox Eminor really haven't taken control of mid. They've sold a lot of smokes and are straight into this B site. So that AWP from STV does pick up a tag onto Nova, and just short of that Gren. Great work from Moe preventing the incoming Ferg from stopping that plant. Now STV, close quarters there, using that AWP as a shotgun, does pick up Cozzy and now does know the position and pick up Sicko as well, and does get a tag on Moe through that wall, and as quickly as it started, it's all over. That retake from XL5, quite well orchestrated. STV just surviving for longer than I would have predicted.
Yeah, he actually killed 3 and tagged the other 2, so you know, that's what, 400 or 500 damage in a round. That's pretty good, and caused them to win. What I didn't like from Vox then is they didn't do enough early. It wasn't a flat out rush, but it was too fast that the team knew it was just going to be B. They needed some more A presence. I mean, you can throw smokes from those B halls, just smoke off A connector or mid connector or window. Like, there's stuff you can do. But basically everybody, I was watching the minimap, everyone was already rotating the B anyway, even if FTV didn't hit those shots. They just didn't do enough to sell it, and they weren't fast enough to catch them off guard, and they were just too slow.
Well, you can see here in this round at least, I mean, they've slowed down the tempo a little bit, and I think they've done just that in the sense that they've tried to sell a little bit of an A fake there. You can see Sicko throwing a few flash grenades, trying to get Cozzy into the A sites, and he's done a great job in the sense that not only has he got one frag, more importantly, all 4 members that are still surviving of Exile5 are on that A bomb site. Vox are going to get plans in here at the B site unchallenged, and X5 will be asking themselves, how on earth did this happen? You can see they're falling back now, trying to retake the site. STV forced to stand in flames, and I think he goes for a second goal, but in the end he's down to 16 HP despite getting that frag purely of his own accord there. Nice shot there by Sicko as well into Palace. So the frags are going both ways, but RBZ wanting to put an end to the round very quickly, pushes into the checkers area and takes down one, but also as importantly gets the information that Dan's, the final member, is also there. And it looks as though not for long though, as he does decide to back off and save his gun for another day.
Yeah, just not getting the frags that they needed there, XL5. Even though Paris, or Nova, as he's better known, Paris as he's tagged up right now, got caught holding a flash out. STV took a lot of damage through that Molotov, just getting that pick, but yeah, some good good trading when necessary, and just out-aiming them simply, Vox, in that B site. They are streaking ahead to a 6-1 score. Another gun round to come in from Vox or Exile5 as a result of saving that gun. And again, they've gone for some early mid control, but this time they're a little bit, I guess, showing a little bit more conviction when trying to take it there. 3 members of Exile5 just streaming on into the mid to try and battle it back and wrestle it back from Vox Eminor. Nova does win that battle there in mid, but in the meantime, RBZ is eliminated from the B halls, and they have a little bit better idea that that bomb is not sitting around that area just yet. Pex has been flashed out, and that bomb will make its way up mid-con into A, where there is only one sole defender who has just been eliminated as well. Great work from Kozu, recognising that A was short on members and just picked off the final man there. And now Pex is going to try and save this AWP. Does pick up the first frag in doing so, but not aware that Moe is just sitting in that B site, even though he's making a lot of noise.
They seem to be having a bit of trouble though on their CT sides, and I know that's a bit of an understatement, but I was just thinking back to Dust 2, that was the side that they struggled as well. I think in the end they only got 2 CT rounds in the entire first half. Again, CT side here. Now they had their choice of sides, at least on Mirage. I can't quite remember back to the first map, but it was a side that they favoured themselves on, but really the pressure the Vox are applying, and I think the different play styles and the variety that we're seeing from them is really putting so much difficulty into the minds of Exile5 as they try and come up with something that can break the tide. But at the moment, it's all going Vox's way, and much so this round as well, as they've seemingly got up B short there, almost undetected. And whilst Exile5 are on Eco, I don't think they'll be expecting the 5-man rush and assault that's soon coming their way. RBZ doing a good job there of taking it upon himself to get both the frags, and Sicko as well takes down Diggs, and another round and another half going Vox's way with the 8 on the board now for them.
Pix has been found out.
No, you go, Jim. I'll let you talk.
Before you get cut off there, Chris, you can finish your round. That was it, just a simple play-by-play on that one.
Gonna say, this is actually turning out exactly like the first map. Besides that one round, which they foolishly just rushed for absolutely no reason, they've just been picking them apart and just really stretching Exile5's sort of defenses, and they just can't handle it. They haven't got resources, and they're not making the frags, and they just can't pick the apart and playing really bad situations.
Murray does win the first exchange there, picking up Dan's in an underpass. Now, Archer's going to stream out of this smoke on the T-ramp, coming straight out, but that has been met with a lot of resistance from Exile5. Only 2 members remain, and the HP on either of them is not very healthy at all, as Moe is now left in spawn. Going to pick up that AWP. That bomb is now down. It is in a very horrible position for Exile5 as Ferg pushes his way through, gets a lot of information as to what might be happening and the potential for Moe to be very close by. His teammates in Pex is just standing in a very close position. Not a bad option given that Moe is likely to have an AWP in this situation. So he's just going to take his time in going through the palace. There's a lot of work to do. He still has to have a fair amount of time as well. Does spot out the head of Pex, but Pex just getting the better of Moe there, catching him out with that Molotov. And a much needed round going to Exile5.
Oh, starting to question that play though in the end, because they had 2 members that looked as though for the most part, I know Pex eventually had the peace of mind to check Palace, but for a large portion of that time they were each watching that same choke point. And I think there were multiple places that Moe would have been coming from, so I could just see in my mind that going badly for them as they stood side by side there. But in the end, they probably deserved that round, and they do have the second on the board, which is all they matched, or all they could manage, I should say, on Dust 2 on their CT half. So at least looking more promising in that regard. But you can see Vox, when need be, they're going back towards this A execute. Now you can see a little bit of bomb juggling in mid here, and Ferg pushing up mid has caught Nova off guard. I think that indecision and T-spawn there meant that Nova was in a position where mid was almost left open and was so dangerous for him. It's going to cause a fake to come in here, as we see Vox heading back now, just to try and see if Ferg will decide to push through. Of course, they're not to know that he has backed off down mid and helped to solidify the A defense. So they're wasting a little bit of time here, of course, trying to be cautious and trying to be ever present of the fact that Ferg could be there, but we can see that that's certainly not the case. He is at the bottom of mid now though, and shows a little bit too much skin as he boldly and dashes there, I think, towards that underpass area, and they would have seen that. I think they saw his head jumping there, so they'll be aware of that threat, but they're now going to need to find an opening onto the side. Only 35 seconds left here.
Yeah, not much time left at all, but they are getting frags across the map. Dance replies with the frag of his own from the jungle there, and will provide resistance, trying to get into that site, but RBZ, quick on the frag there. Dig still alive under that shadow area as he does fall quite early, and now they know the position of Pex. RBZ does not win that battle. Pex just showing us why he's been the standout player for Exile5 across this entire Counterpit series.
What did you make of that one, Peppers? What did you think there of the push there from third? Perhaps suspecting that an A execute was coming?
Yeah, I think that's what they needed to do back on Dust 2 as well. They just need to disrupt Vox and what they're doing. They're just playing too passive, and Vox are just too sharp and just got too many good smokes and flashes to basically beat them at that game. So Ferg's playing what they call a disruptor role, and he's just trying to get in their face. And you could see that Vox actually had to use a lot of resources just to retake mid before they could do their strat, which meant they didn't have the resources when they were actually taking A. They'd already used them all to try and clear out mid because they thought Ferg was still there. So, but more of that, more of this sort of like bump and run sort of style Counter-Strike, which I think is what Pex just did there as well. So I like the way they're playing. This is a lot better.
We can see here that an exchange of frags has gone down there. RBZ does take down Ferg in the B halls, but I was just trying to say that Exile5 here are on the verge in terms of breaking Vox's economy. They have, of course, full sport this round, Vox Eminor, but they did have one player on a pistol. The other four, whilst they had rifles, are very low on utility. So they've really invested everything that they have into this round on the back of losing the previous two. So if X5 can just find a way to finish and close out this round, they'd be in a great position. But we can see that Koze has other things in mind. A nice headshot there onto Dan's, and it's actually, I think, his third for the round. So he's got more than his fair share. A nice little hat trick for himself. And whilst he does fall, he'll certainly be communicating that Pex is over at A, and that will allow the B players some time to position themselves here. Perhaps RBZ positioning himself in the checkers, though, not the most ideal spot. I think there are a few other hiding spots that perhaps ought first to have been filled out. We can see he's now in a 1-on-2 situation. Will slowly step his way out and does check that corner there near the window. It's a very common spot. I think Paris, though, or Nova as he's otherwise known, too fast to the trigger and does take him down. 9-3. And unfortunately, whilst that round, if X5 could have got it, would have broken Vox's economy, it's now worked the other way for them, where they're going to find themselves on an eco.
Handy little 3k there from Koze in the A side, just opening things up and allowing them to sell that fake oh so easily. But now, of course, they are going to rush through mid, and it is clean-up time for Paris as he does take two. And now Sicko has come to his aid, picking up a handy 2 frags of his own. Nova just picking up the third there. All too easy for them in mid. Really not too much resistance coming through from the CTs. I don't know whether they had a lot of inventory there to burn at the top of mid to slow any terrorist action, but it really didn't work out for them too well.
Well, you're certainly right. You can see, of course, they have full sport. We're getting to the later stages of the half now, so it doesn't surprise me to see that a bit of a compromise buys come out here from Exile5, having to sacrifice and get a couple of P90s and even a shotgun or two. They'll obviously be trying to put it to good use there. You can see Dance has fallen down, though, and Vox just gaining so much map control here, seemingly taking control of mid at their own will. Sicko will push through the mid-con on the back and getting that one frag, and suspects, I think, off the information Koz is feeding to him that there's another player at T-Ramp, and of course we can see that that is correct. They now know the position of another one, though. He does spot Ferg at the bottom of the mid, so 2/3 of the team are now definitely on the radar there of Vox, and as Sicko seals the deal, he does end up killing himself in his own Molotov, but he'll just be happy that he got third beforehand. But it's quite a dramatic way to end the round for Sicko there, but good job by Vox.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about that round. They had, 2 of them had head armor, which is, this is the CTs. I think it was Pex and STV. And they've actually got 3 with head armor this round. It's just not needed. They've got no defuse kits for the second round in a row. They could easily buy defuse kits with these head armors. It's obvious they've got either AKs or AWPs. The head armor is absolutely useless. And it's just causing them to have less resources than what they need. And on top of that, they're just playing passive. And it's not working. They need to take a leap out of that run round where they went aggressive. And I'm sure they'd have a lot more success. Like they'd spawn that whole round. Exactly that.
In the meantime, though, that round went down so quickly. Exile5 getting really aggressive with their pistols, and you saw them push underpass. You saw them push every choke point fathomable, and it just worked out for them there. So maybe that was the approach that they needed to take a little bit earlier in the half.
I think so. I think it's obviously easier with hindsight, and when you're caught up in the middle of a tough battle, tough duel, especially when you've copped a little bit of a hiding on the previous map, it's always going to be tough to make those sort of mid-game adjustments for them. But they are a new up-and-coming team. They've only been together for 3 weeks, and I think there are plenty of lessons here, both positive and not so, for the team that they can use moving forward as they do develop. They've got a great leadership structure within the team that'll certainly, if they do keep at it and keep up those practice hours, help them make those needed changes. We can see Moe here, though, very aggressive pushes up mid there, and he's quite content really just to stand there and take that duel, and it's one in the sense that it's forced picks away from mid. He's terrified, and they will now pounce onto this B side here, almost terrified of where Vox Eminor could possibly be with the information, I think, of one player at the top of mid. You can see RBZ, though, he has got the first frag. Sicko as well chiming in, as RBZ picks up a second, all of a sudden, it's just the same story that we've been saying for the last, what feels like an eternity, but probably only an hour or so. It is now 11-4, but it's going to be very tough from here for Ferg to make something of this round in a 1-on-3 now. He has grabbed the first, but of course he is on 13 health points, and his position is known with the bomb in the site. He somehow needs to pull a Houdini here and find his way in there, plant it, and then casually take the heads off the other 3 players.
Actually dreaming.
He's dreaming? Okay.
Gonna happen.
It's never going to happen. Well, Sicko's on the rotation here.
Off,
Yeah, Sicko not content just to wait in the B side. He's actually on the flank here as well. So if Ferg isn't game enough to step out into the B side and have his head ripped off, I'm sure that Sicko will do him the favour in a second. But as it is, Kozer steps up on the van and does take him down in the end. 12-4, Vox starting out the stronger on the CT and favourable side.
Yeah, ideal start there for Vox Eminor. And now they need to take the steps towards closing this round, or this match out rather. Exile5 just going for the pistol buys there. STV, the man with the deagle, no armor as a result, but they are just going to set up for an A execute straight off the bat. What do you make of this?
A lot of rounds to play with. This is one of their, I think this is their only strategy that I've seen, so why not go for it? They've done the exact one they did last night, so it worked. It had a bit of success last night, so I guess they're just going to go for it. They don't have a lot of rounds to play with, so they need to win some rounds. So let's just try it with pistols.
Well, you can see them swarming now. I think that passive play from Vox didn't allow X5 to get any close frags that they would have liked, and Molotovs under balcony and whatnot proved to be not much use to them in that sense, and they have fallen over very, very quickly as that rotation does come in. So quite clean in the context as well. No plants, only one member going down. I think it was Moe on the CT side. So really not what X5 would have been hoping for. As a bare minimum, a plant, and hoping to obviously win the round given the investment that they did put into it.
Yeah, heavy investment for not a lot of return. So now they find themselves on a full eco in preparation for that gun round, and they have a long battle ahead of them if they are going to get themselves back into this match. As Pex does pounce on Moe there in the underpass. Moe just cleaning up all too easily with that FAMAS and putting a bit of utility on there as dancers get flashed. He does pick up that second frag as well. Great work from Moe. Picking up a fourth as well, and geez, just making it really hard for Exile5 to feel confident in taking any particular choke point, just because they're playing so aggressively, so confidently, and so freely.
This has got to be one of the fastest BO2s I think we've cast all season, doesn't it? I just checked the time then. It's only just ticked over to 10 o'clock here in Queensland time for us, so the match has only been going for an hour, and we nearly threw an entire BO2. That is the pace at which this series has been played at. And unfortunately for Exile5, it's probably also an indication of how little rounds or how few rounds they've been able to accumulate over the 2 maps. They have obviously force bought this round. They need every other round if they're to, I guess, take this match in regular time here. Down 14-4 at the moment. But Diggs does start off the stronger as he does drop Moe there, who was a little too adventurous at the bottom of mid. Perhaps not enough support nearby to help him out. But again, Kozer and RBZ, these stabilising forces within the team doing just that as they get a frag apiece, and all of a sudden this big task of taking over this 5-unit man of Exile5 has just suddenly been broken down into something a lot more manageable for them.
The 5-unit man. But Diggs is able to salvage some hope for his team in this round and bring it back to a 3v3. RBZ just falling back through the B halls there and securing that B site, because he's doing a good job there of picking up STV, and Paris just locking down this A site. Nova picking him up, RBZ cleaning him up there, and 15 for the score. And now 11 match points to play for Exile5. Obviously, as you said, the season is pretty much done and dusted from here. Vox will be just keen to finish them now that they're on the ropes.
I love the way Vox basically did exactly what I wanted Exile5 to do, just with these little disruptive pushes through lower dark, mid. They know the T's don't have a lot of resources, and they wanted to use those resources with an execute. So they're going to get greedy in the way they take their zones with not much resources. So they're just pushing up, getting in their face, and getting some really cheap and basically free kills, which is just totally throwing Exile5 off. They can't do their executes, and then they're losing their rounds. This round here, they've gone straight into the execute, so they've got no map territory at all. So hopefully, I'm hoping Koze and the CTs can see this coming a mile away and really slam this down, because you know exactly where these smokers are going to go. They're going to block off the site like they have every time. So we'll see how they defend against it.
Well, they've been a little bit slow on the rotation. I was just trying to say, despite one member there in the form of Moe pushing through the B hordes, RBZ and Sito just hanging around for a little bit too long. So it's meant that a lot of pressure on Nova and Koze here to start down this rush on their own before the defense can regroup at the A site. But they're doing a fantastic job so far. They've already got 2 frags, and Moe on that flank as well, proving such a menace. And this looks to be the final round here, as it's all left up to Ferg, and he does fall at the hands of Sito, eventually making his way towards the A site. And 16-4. Another comprehensive map win there by Vox Eminor. They've looked so strong tonight, and they've really just pumped Exile5 for 2 maps in a row. We're done in an hour.